Hey, what's up, everybody? Tasteless here. Joined with me is Gemini for another day of StarCraft II at the RSL.
Oh, yeah. Very excited. We got 2 lower brackets best of 5s to be playing today. Yep. It's going to be great. We got a ZVZ and a TVP to come at you, so that's going to be very fun. Unfortunately, it is going to be, like I said, that ZVZ, but that's actually the only 2 Zergs we have left in the tournament. So
we might be close to eliminating one of the 3 races here in the tournament. We're going to see who is going to survive out of that ZVZ here. But Zerg player is going to be watching this side of the bracket very carefully. So it's going to be SHIN versus Reynor, and then Trigger versus ByuN. Up in the winners series, we have Cure versus ByuN and Classic versus Maro.
Yep. That's going to be happening tomorrow. Some more TVPs to come at you, but like we said, it's going to be some ZVZ TVP today. This has been the schedule so far, so today is obviously the 13th. Tomorrow we're going to finishing out this week with those 2 other matches, and then starting back on Thursday again, we're going to be going into the final days of the Season 2 of RSL. Feels like we just started, and here we are already. Feels like we're already getting really through all of this.
It's crazy, man. It's like... by the way, getting Season 1 set up and good to go was a little bit stressful. It was a lot of work. Season 2, very easy. It's funny. Now we just kind of turn the lights on and get the games going. So we're going to have Season 3 later this year. And then in December, we don't have the exact dates mapped out yet. We are going to have the RSL offline finals. It's going to be live in Seoul. Players will be there. Casters will be there. And you can be there too. We will have more information on exactly what date that is. We're still talking to a couple different vendors and seeing what makes sense, basically. And but we'll have that. Weeks and weeks in advance. So if you're planning on coming to Korea to see that, you'll have an opportunity to do that, and we'll let you know where to go get tickets. Archon Studio is the official partner here for the RSL. They're making the StarCraft tabletop miniatures game. They reached out to us before we started Season 1 and offered to support our tournament. I didn't even know that they were making the StarCraft tabletop miniatures game. It looks amazing. They've got a ton of other great products on their site, so definitely check them out. They're the premier tabletop miniatures game company the best in the entire world, basically. So we very much so appreciate their support.
Yep, we've also got our Patreon, of course. Many of you guys have been coming on to our Patreon and enjoying it very much, and we've got plenty of different tiers to go for. Lots of different things to get from our Patreon. We would love it if you would help support us with this endeavor that we're doing here. You can vote for maps, you can vote for players, you can get replays every week. You can just talk in our Discord if you want and have fun with us, all that kind of stuff. So
definitely do that. That's the best part. We've got a ton of people that are joining this. We hope we can get you to join us here. The bad news is that we don't have the same kind of support from Blizzard that we had in most of the existence of StarCraft II. But the good news is it doesn't have to go away. We just have to rely on the community to support it. So. We've also got merch for sale, 20% off if you are a Patreon supporter. You can go to tastelessthreads.com. We've got RSL mugs, hoodies, pins, but we've also got a bunch of other kind of esports or RTS or gaming culture related stuff on there. So definitely go check it out.
Yep, make sure to also follow us on YouTube. We want to get the algorithm pushing our videos absolutely everywhere, so we would love it if you could go ahead and subscribe over there. Leave a like, leave a comment. Everyone likes to read the comments in these videos. We'll do that too.
All the Philosopher Kings in the comments, go make your point there. When I really got to get to the bottom of something, I go, what are the people in the YouTube comment section saying? There's
Philosopher Kings.
But we do need to actually grow this YouTube, so please consider subscribing. Do leave a comment, like a video, whatever. We think in the future, in order for this thing to grow, it has to have a big YouTube presence. A lot of people that consume StarCraft are older. They've got jobs. They've got kids. All that stuff. And so, if it pops up in their algorithm, they're more likely to find us. Maybe they'll come watch us live on Twitch.
Yep, for sure. I mean, lots of stuff on YouTube, lots of StarCraft stuff there, so everyone's trying to find it there. So if you could also help us there on our YouTube, it'd be sick. But I think we're going to be going into our first game pretty soon here. It's going to be SHIN versus Reynor coming on up very quickly. It's going to be, hopefully, an absolute banger of a match to start us off.
Yeah. So we're going to go into this best of 5. Remember that the loser of this series is eliminated. So it's going to be SHIN up here at the top, Reynor down here in the bottom.
Yep, Persephone is going to be the first map. This is, I think, Is this the first ZVZ we've had this season? Not to put you on the spot, but I feel like this might be one of the first. Because I think there was only one group, or there was only one Zerg in each group.
Yeah,
there were no ZVZs in the group.
We've basically not had any ZVZ.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how this goes. I think Reynor's an extremely strong player, ZVZ. I think SHIN has a shot, but I would be surprised if SHIN did come out and win this. But let's see.
Yeah, I looked it up a little bit before as well, and Reynor, in the last couple times they played, they don't play very often because they just don't really match each other in the same tournaments very often, but the last couple times they did play recently was in the Maestros tournament and at EWC, and Reynor did dispatch of SHIN pretty easily both times, so definitely coming in as the favorite is Reynor, I would say, but SHIN always capable of some upsets, always capable of throwing out some very interesting styles, able to do some cool stuff, and so we'll see if he's able to bring that out today, or if it will be another Reynor story coming into this lower bracket.
Yeah, so, for now we got to see, are there going to be any major deviations here in the build orders? ZVZ, I think is, been a pretty interesting matchup. Honestly, in the current state of StarCraft, I feel like all the mirror matchups are in pretty interesting spots. But yeah, we're kind of waiting. Right now, the builds are mirroring each other, so there's not really anything to analyze until we see that branch off for one of them.
I do love watching the ZVZ Ling Bane Wars. It's definitely one of my most favorite things to watch. I love the explosivity of it, just the fast pace, just kind of crazy millisecond decisions that can honestly just alter the game immediately. It's just very tense, just kind of fun to watch. So I'm always looking forward to that personally whenever I see a ZVZ, and if it doesn't happen, I'm a little disappointed, not gonna lie, but
yeah, they just both kill roaches or something. Yeah, I remember that was one of the moments where I'm like, I don't want to main as Zerg. It was like right when the game came out, and I'm like, oh, this is really hard. Like Lings and Banes engaging each other. StarCraft II is kind of known as the fastest of all the RTSs, if that makes sense. Like, things really pick up. You can, have your screen in the wrong spot and possibly just lose the game outright, depending on, things like Widow Mine drops is an example, but Ling Baneling is absolutely one of those as well. So for now in this game, they're both taking the third base. We have a Baneling's Nest started, but we also see there is one about to start over here for Reynor, so we haven't had that branch off yet. Just Reynor coming in here, spotting that third hatchery. And we're going to basically either see more drones get created or someone's going to go hard in the paint with Lings.
Hard in the paint, indeed.
That's right.
Very curious if they're actually going to do that. Just a couple coming out for both player. Basically just, oh, never mind. There it is. There's the hard in the paint. Reynor's going hard in the paint.
We only got 2 Lings here for SHIN.
Yeah, we're going to see.
If we don't see more. Okay, so he's starting to make his own. But 18 is way more than 10 here.
That is true.
Some profound stuff coming from me here.
It's quick maths coming out from Tasteless over here.
Tasteless casting the game, doing math stuff. He's kind of he's a jack of all trades.
He's studied in multiple subjects in college, We'll be trying
one of those Philosopher Kings YouTube comments even. We're gonna have a big attack coming up here. Reynor's headed north. He's going to try to hit this base. He hid 2 Lings over here on the side. Those are the 2 that scouted earlier. And he's going to try to come in here. Now, there's a makeshift wall. Oh, my God. Actually,
They all just go past each other, and they get stuck on the Queens. A bit unfortunate, but nice Baneling connection on a few of them. We'll be able to kill some of those Banelings, but Reynor has to run away quickly to not lose all of the other ones. Will he be able to keep this momentum up? It doesn't look like he's actually trying to, because he is droning behind this. He doesn't want a full commit, just seeing if he can get as much damage as possible while forcing a lot of mistakes out of SHIN.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know, man. SHIN looks like he's in pretty good shape here. He really hasn't taken that much damage yet. The Queens and the Banes are kind of perfectly positioned where Reynor can't really engage her with his Lings. Comes in, does a little bit of damage to that Queen. It was crazy. Not a single Bane detonated. That is wild.
Yeah, that's crazy that he didn't even go for a manual detonate on a few of those, because that was a decent portion of Lings that he could have gotten. Not the case, though. Loses a Queen on the back end as well. And during all of this, like I was saying, Reynor just switched back into drones, so now he's got a solid 42-33 drone lead at this point. Now going back into more Lings himself, realizing that SHIN also was not really making too many drones at that point. Going into the fast roaches just to make sure he's not going to die to any counterattack, and then he should be feeling safe to continue on to the mid game.
Yeah, I would say SHIN's in pretty good shape right now. He's actually getting several more drones up here. Reynor actually did have the worker count lead. I didn't notice that until just now. But SHIN is about to catch up as 7 more drones are about to hatch. Reynor got his Roach Warren, but it was a little bit later. These Roaches, I don't see Banelings with him yet, so he's going to come in here. Baneling's actually turning around for... Ooh, Reynor's so crafty with these little counterattacks here. But so far, honestly, SHIN's defense has been very good.
Yeah, it's a solid defense. We do still have Reynor, though, very far ahead in terms of the lair timing. His is almost 75% done at this point, whereas SHIN is just starting his right now. So Reynor's honestly manipulated the game in a pretty nice way to give him a solid lead in that regard. And just because his Roach Warren was a little bit later, sure, he's going to have a few less Roaches at the beginning, but it will still allow him to get a good amount out later in the game, while still getting good Roach speed timing and stuff like that. And even able to get a few more drone kills with these just random lings running into the third base. We'll be able to net him a nice, decent economy situation, as he's going to be able to get more of those as well. But there's that +1 and Roach speed coming in right away for Reynor. We'll have a massive lead on that, almost suiciding all those Banelings, or those lings, rather.
For the time being, SHIN has defended very well. He's continuing to drone up here. Now actually ahead of Reynor, 62 to 58 workers. And he's going to be getting that missile attack upgrade. The same can be said for Reynor, though. Yeah, it does seem like the game is finally quieted down. Reynor does take a 4th hatchery. Oh, the lings get in. Okay, they're going to go right into the main. This could be a lot of damage.
Yeah, because the Roaches are also moving across the map at the same time, so if this actually pulls enough units away, smartly by SHIN, he's only bringing the Banelings, knowing that can actually deal with this by themselves, making sure that the Roaches at the front can't do anything. Since SHIN has plenty of Overlord spread, he's able to actually see that movement, so nice defense in that regard, but this is still wasting a lot of mining time in the main base. 2 of them somehow hit it off in this tiniest of margins, literally a pixels off of being able to see them.
You just can't see that.
No way. If this actually nets an insane amount of damage, it's going to be wild. Here they come into the main base. SHIN not paying attention to the last second, but 7 of them getting killed off in total. A nice play by Reynor.
Reynor's at 151 supply to 105. He is vaulted ahead here in size and scope. And this attack's going to hit. I don't know that SHIN can survive here. You know, it's like a beautiful layup, right? Those Banelings killing the 7 drones as this attack is outbound. I mean, maybe he holds it, but this looks like it's going to be very, very tough to stop.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't even have Roach speed down. GG, realizing right that second, yeah, SHIN has completely been outplayed and outmanipulated in this game. Very nice play by Reynor overall. I think that really kind of tells the story of what their last couple of series have looked like, where Reynor is just really capable of throwing out certain types of aggression while being able to macro safely behind it to allow himself to just kind of catapult ahead in other ways. Getting that faster lair, getting the faster drone counts, so that way his income kind of boosts up quicker, so that way he can then go for that huge Roach flood later on in the game. So just very nice overall play by Reynor.
Yeah, I mean, it looked really... He's caught me off guard. I was like, I thought it was like an alarm in the building. I'm like, oh, the building's on fire. We got to run out. What was I saying? Yeah, I mean, it was an impressive game overall. I hope that we can have a closer match.
Yeah.
Sometimes you look at like game 1 of Best 5, you go, ooh. Okay, this is...
can we not have 2 more of those?
Yeah. So is that what the whole thing's going to look like? I thought SHIN was holding on pretty well early on. I feel like a lot of times I can explain a game pretty clearly. I didn't exactly see when Reynor just suddenly had 50 more supply. It seemed like it was close, it was dead even, and then I looked down and I'm like, it's 101 supply to like 155.
Yeah, that's what happens when you are able to get like the drone rounds in before your opponent, right? Because he had like a solid 10 worker lead at some point, and so like since he gets that income so quickly, SHIN then has to catch back up, but in all that catch-up time, Reynor is able to just go ahead and start going into the next phase, which is all those Roaches, all the upgrades and everything.
It's a hard thing to capture sometimes when you're seeing a game, but like basically the ebb and flow of how Reynor developed was perfect. Mm-hmm. So yeah, fingers crossed here. We're going to go to, how does Sturgeon say this map?
He said Tomahawk the first time, and
He's a Tomahawk. How do we say this map now?
It's Tokamak. Tokamak, one of those
Tokamak.
Two. Yeah. Pick your poison. Toko. Whatever you want.
Yeah. It's going to be...
I feel like we've done this every single time this has come up.
And it's never been funny, but every time we do it, and everybody's at home watching blankly, staring at screens blankly, waiting for them to get
do these people have an elementary school level of education?
Definitely it's forever high school here at RSL. Excuse me. So, we're going to go into this game 2, and
That's an early pull.
That's an early pull, yeah. So, guess what? We're not going to be just looking at the production tab and waiting for something to change. Reynor's going to go for a little rush.
A little rush. That's what they call him. He's going to rush some Linglings over on the other side of the base and see if he can do anything. We'll see if it's going to be a drone pull with it as well, as that's obviously something that can always happen where they go for the Ling drone pull to just go on for the huge all-in. And we've got one drone coming across,
so he's going to make a spine crawler with that.
Yeah, I guess so. We'll see if this ends up working. SHIN sometimes likes to go for this type of aggressive stuff too every now and then, so obviously both players are very well versed in these styles. So we'll see if SHIN's response is up to snuff.
Yeah. I feel like, at least in the games I cast, I haven't... Wait, what?
He's going to cancel and make a spine, surely.
Yeah. That makes
or
more
not.
sense.
Wait, yeah, okay, it's just... Okay. Because the vision was kind of confusing me. Oh, wait, no, it is still there. What? What is he doing? Oh, he messed it up the first time. He messed it up 2 times in a row.
Oh, my God, he messed it up! No!
Oh, that's so brutal. And he makes a hatchery back at home immediately afterwards, realizing it. Oh, that's so brutal.
My God.
He actually messed it up twice, because the production tab actually had to cancel once, 2 times in a row, but the vision was coming from SHIN, so we didn't actually see that. He's going to try to make it to the main base, but I feel like at this point, you know, it's been totally blown. The cover's been totally off. He sees exactly what's happening at this point, so that is a brutal scenario for Reynor, and he's going to have to now recover from this awkward situation.
He knew the exact right number of drones. It's 3 to snowball the damage down. The drone cancels. I mean, I guess he can make a spine down here now.
He's just going to bring it home. I think you kind of have to just abort at this point as Reynor.
Or he could build an extractor there. I mean, there's all sorts of stuff he could do. Well, this is really good for SHIN.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, the Ling count is going to be perfect. He's kept most of his drones alive, only losing 2, which is quite good. He's still up a solid amount of drones, going to continue to make more of them. And SHIN should be feeling very comfortable, especially now that this queen has arrived. This is looking like an excellent defense coming out of SHIN.
So, I mean, now the game's going to normalize a bit, but it's undeniable right now that, you know, Reynor's in a very, very bad position here. Now, there's enough Lings here. Hold on, can he actually get this queen?
Huh. I guess
I kind of underestimated how few Lings SHIN has, but I mean, anything he gets here could end up putting Reynor in a good position.
That micro was so good.
Reynor has 17 workers. There's 23 here for SHIN, so if he could get 5, that would be nice. It looks like that's not going to happen as we're down to 1 Ling.
That would be crazy if 1 Ling killed 5 drones. That'd be massive. That was some really slick micro from SHIN on that 1 drone as well to keep it alive. Every little thing counts at this point, of course, because SHIN wants to keep this economic lead going that he's accrued for himself. A solid 8-7 workers or so ahead is going to be super good for him. Wow, Reynor going for a ninja base in ZVZ on the bottom right-hand side of the map. That is not something you see very often.
I think this is one of the best possible moves. I think your cheese failed. That is probably the best time to hide a base.
Yeah.
Right? Like otherwise you're just playing from behind in a very straightforward game. Take that base in the bottom right. And you know, a lot of games, I mean, even speaking from experience, is where you like think you have a read on exactly where they're at, and you think, okay, well, this game's really their problem. They have to do something, and you're like, oh no, they're literally ahead of me in a base.
Yeah.
This is terrible. So, I mean, it could cost SHIN the game if he doesn't find that.
Yeah, it's going to be very awkward, though, or sorry, suspicious, I should say, from SHIN when he comes in and sees 0 gas being mined at all from Reynor. He's going to have to wonder where exactly the path is for Reynor here. I honestly don't know if he's ever even going to think to expect a ninja base like this. I feel like you almost never see this in ZVZ. Like this is like a PvP kind of thing where it's like you get really thrown out. It's like you can recall the probes over, so it's not like you have to, like, you know, send them across the map and risk it being seen. You have warp gate that you can warp in at the proxy nexus as well. So in ZVZ though, doing this kind of a play is extremely interesting, and so I really want Reynor to just survive, just to see how this works. I don't want SHIN to just be like, oh, I can just all-in you and win, and just kill him. I want to see if this actually ends up working and tricking SHIN in this match.
Okay, excuse me. So there's a chance that SHIN is going to wind up here for some kind of an attack, but then if he only sees 2 bases, he might not, right? Like if you have 3 bases, they have 2, you're probably sitting back thinking, okay, he's going to maybe tech to mutas. Or
Yeah.
something's coming, right? You don't just stay on 2 bases and don't do anything.
Yeah, that's exactly what this looks like. He's full walling at the front, keeping his queens in the wall so that way no links can get in. This looks exactly like some fast Muta play coming off of 4 gases. Yes, it is 4 gases, but it's not for Mutas. It's with a 3rd base that's before Shin's, and the worker count is completely even at this point. So I guess Shin is totally unaware.
Yeah, so I guess what he wants to do is actually just go for roaches of his own, and which, from Shin's perspective, if he only sees 2 bases, he goes, well, I just am going to have more.
Yeah.
But in fact, he might have a bad read. So let's see. I'm curious, by the way, with Reynor. Eventually you do want to go take what would be perceived as the 3rd base here, no matter what. So when is that moment?
Looks like he's trying to send out a drone right now, so that's actually exactly the time when. Looks like he'll be trying to put that down there. We'll be getting the lair a little bit later than his opponent, of course, but of course things have to get cut here and there to be able to get this to work. So the speed coming in for Shin will be quicker. Actually, was that a kill on that hatchery? It doesn't look like the drone was somewhere, but perhaps not. Anyways, we do have like I said, the roach speed coming in much quicker for Shin, so he's going to maybe find a timing with that, similar to how Reynor found such a large timing with it in the first game.
Oh my God, he just doesn't see that.
That's so brutal.
It's painful,
That's
man.
insane.
It's right under his nose. And he hasn't spotted it yet.
Oh my
God.
Because why would you ever think that? No one does this in CVZ. Why would you ever expect it?
This should be done more often. I think it's really good.
Yeah.
I think anytime you have a failed cheese and you're like, well, I'm not dead, but I'm in a bad position, that's like the perfect time to hide a base.
Even as not a failed cheese, but just as a build, like making it look like you're going. Because doing like the turtle 2 base into a tech thing is like, I feel like kind of standard-ish in ZVZ at least, like kind of comes in every now and then. So doing it with a fast hit in thirds, like I feel like that could kind of catch people off. It's not the worst thing, but now Shin comes over here, cancels his 3rd again, and it's going to be like, well, what the hell are you doing, man? Like, where's your stuff? And at this point, though, Reynor needs to make sure.
Roach horn?
Oh, God.
That's actually really funny. Okay, so Shin's going to come in here and hit. Now, Shin does have more supply. This game we may never see Shin actually find this 3rd base. He might just win, too.
He's going to be so confused when he looks at the replay. He's like, wait, what?
Yeah. How does he have so much stuff still? I do like that just exploiting the wall in play here. More roaches are going to come up. I can't tell who's winning because there's too many overlords to actually see what's going on. I think blue has more.
I think the reinforcements are coming in pretty nicely for Reynor, though, and with the queen, it's going to be kind of nice. Oh, there's reinforcements coming in the bottom side. Never mind. That's where all those are coming from. So actually, that's going to make it even worse for Reynor. They're slow walking all the way up to the natural, and that's not going to work out very well at all. Shin is overrunning this position at this point. The queens doing what they can to keep and buy as much time as possible. Shin's going to see these roaches coming from the bottom, being like, what the hell are these coming from? Where do these come? I don't even understand at this point. And it's going to be kind of a hold-ish, I guess, for Reynor until some more of these roaches from Shin get across the map. But this is just a very prolonged roach versus roach fight that surely shouldn't be going Reynor's favor unless he can just keep getting more.
I mean, it's not over till it's over, right? I mean, he's getting just enough roaches. By the way, I bet Shin is just scratching his head right now. I mean, like, how is he just... Like, the math doesn't add up. How does he still have enough to fight me?
I have been in this situation so many times. The exact same thing where it's like you're just rallying and rallying and rallying. You're like, you've been on 2 bases for the whole... How are you defending my push? Like, how is it even remotely even at this point?
And then it hits you, you go, wait a minute.
Wait a second.
And then you, like, send one worker out, and you go, oh, no. When you click on the minerals, and they're, like, almost all gone. Like, the whole game he had the hidden base?
I mean, he's kind of... I mean, he's got the one... He had the 1-1 advantage for a while. He had one extra upgrade. He's pulling drones to really continue to help with this defense. Now Shin has the +2 lead, though, which is going to make it much more difficult. But, I mean, Reynor's holding. He's actually managed to somehow get everything together and hold. Shin is gonna see these roaches again come from the bottom side of the map. Surely he must realize at this point that something is happening. That's another one makes its name shown. So Shin must, at this point... Come on, go over. Yeah, there you go.
He's like, come, follow me. I'll show you my hidden base.
You want to see why I'm still in this game? Come look.
Okay, now
the secret's out.
Now Shin is sad. He's going, seriously, man? Oh, my God. This slippery guy.
Well, now Reynor's got to get the rest of his stuff from his main to this pseudo 3rd base instead of the other way around to be able to keep defending. And honestly, he is still doing that. Stuff coming from the top will be able to help reinforce this. Somehow, Reynor has a supply lead through all of this, and still has a drone lead this entire time as well, by the way. Now, finally, SHIN getting some of these roaches up nice and close, gets one of those Ravagers. A lot of these roaches from Reynor are very weakened and will start to get picked off one by one as the others still trailing from the main and natural.
Okay, I think he got it. It's been close for almost the entirety of this game, but this should be the tipping point. He just has enough roaches. The reinforcements aren't quite able to get there. I mean, this kind of shows you why you don't generally expand too far away, right? It's too much of a strain to try to protect two places at once. Reynor's sending some more roaches down here, but I don't see more trickling down on the mini-map, so I think that this is going to be at least the moment where this base goes down. We'll probably have to see these drones pulled.
Yeah, we're going to finally get a lot of these drones, I'm assuming, since there's only a few roaches coming on the reinforcement. It's really starting to thin out now for Reynor. Knows that he is sending those back over to the new real third position, so we'll be able to keep some of those alive. But at this point, SHIN has finally broken him and finally gotten a solid lead in the army count. Just continually sending units across the map that entire last seeming like 3 minutes of the game, it felt like. But now we'll actually get everything together, kills off that base, and should now be able to regroup. Although now Reynor, with all that time bought, did actually get his own +2 finished as well. So now he's back to having an upgrade lead with the Carapace. So if he can also get a large amount of units out, perhaps he can actually get the defense again. But it feels like at this point for SHIN, the army lead has really surpassed what Reynor could possibly have.
Yeah, I think SHIN's going to be excited to finish Reynor off, but I mean, this does highlight like what a scary player Reynor is, you know? Okay, we're going to have another, excuse me, huge attack coming in here. And, you know, the surface area is actually a little bit better for where SHIN's fighting. I don't know if he can kind of force it here. This angle is actually kind of bad. Is he going to try to commit to this? He might just have enough, it doesn't matter.
He's going to just go right on in. The reinforcements are going to be here for Reynor, of course, but I think the numbers are finally going to be too strong. I spoke too soon, perhaps, because a lot of these roaches are starting to thin out, especially if they start to eat biles right in front of them.
Oh my God.
And Reynor holds again.
So, dude, he's so good. It's funny because, you know, on paper, there's been so many moments where SHIN is just like better off. And
yeah.
I'm kind of assuming that the game's going to follow this natural course. And like, okay, well, but the fact that SHIN overextended there is crazy. It did look like a bad angle for him.
Yeah.
When I saw him come in like that, I thought, well, that's not. I mean, that's definitely going to be favored for Reynor, but maybe the math just works out to where it doesn't matter. You can take a bad engage and still overpower him. So, I mean, he's got one more base. That's just now finishing as I'm finishing the sentence. And the new hatchery for Reynor has started. So Reynor's like, it's pretty even is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, no, it's doing well. I mean, the fact that he has that one extra upgrade lead is actually helping out so significantly in these fights. And it really didn't help that SHIN was eating a couple biles towards the end of that fight as well. That was not exactly what you need to have in some of these roach versus roach fights. Every bile that hits is going to be very impactful. We haven't a drop overlord getting made. We're going to drop a couple roaches in a mineral line, perhaps, as Reynor would be very cool to see, as that is definitely something to kind of put the pressure back on SHIN a little bit, since he's the one that's been full-on aggression ever since the botched proxy spine play coming out of Reynor. It would be nice if Reynor could actually get something across the other side of the map here, and so that's going to be one way they could potentially do that. Let's see what's actually loaded up in there. Will be those 4 roaches, so it will be a roach drop harass coming in, and we'll see if he's able to find any type of opening with that play coming here soon.
Yeah, Reynor's very good at these late game position plays. You know, where you like send a couple roaches over here to send 2 burrowed roaches this way, and you try to destabilize the Zerg by having them basically be imbalanced in how they're going to try to defend everything. You know, they might send 20 roaches to defend against 2, and then your main army hits somewhere else. So we'll be on the lookout for that. I mean, seeing the drop overlord, definitely a sign of what is to come.
It looks like he's just going to drop them over on the right-hand side, perhaps, and just kind of keep them there for now. But it's going to be basically going into a solid mid and late game here for both players. They're going to be able to max out, surprisingly enough. Really didn't think we would end up in this position, given how good SHIN was looking towards the earlier stages of this game. But both players will get into a solid position here. Burrow will be finished for SHIN as well, so that's going to generally help for different types of harassment plays, because Tunneling Claw is also about to finish up as well, so we could always burrow some roaches, send them into the mineral lines there as well. Now is when Reynor's going to spring his trap, going in for that Overlord drop while sending around the other part of his main army to try and look for any type of opening. SHIN will match him right at the front, doesn't want to engage in that as Reynor, because he knows this drop is going to start to cause chaos in the back.
Okay, so the roaches are going to come over here. Queen not even activated yet to defend. Here he comes now. And meanwhile, Reynor, just north of this position, is going to try to pour into that base that's most on the outside. And man, this angle is actually really good for Reynor. The hatchery kind of, the way it's placed here doesn't really allow SHIN a whole lot of room. The bios can be very punishing if he actually commits in there. Decent control here. Again, it's one of those moments that arc is looking really, really nice here for Reynor. Is SHIN actually going to die here? This is kind of crazy. The hatchery is going to go down, which is all he really needed to do. He doesn't need to close the game out. He just has to poke that out. Roaches are going to target down this queen. SHIN's going to come in here and try to catch this. There's a lot more Ravagers here. Oh, nice targeting here from Reynor.
Yeah, I love that. Splitting up just a couple roaches to get those target fires onto the Ravagers. Very nicely done. The micro from Reynor in these fights feels like it's kind of doing more than SHIN is able to do in some of these. It feels like he's really putting much more focus on that. SHIN, of course, is trying to send these burrowed roaches all over the place to do a similar amount of chaos to what Reynor was kind of doing just before with the drop Overlord. But now I mean, Reynor's coming out pretty well ahead in this situation, getting that base, doesn't lose a large majority of his army, and maintains the 2-2 upgrade lead at this point. SHIN coming in from the back with some of the roaches, but they're kind of move commanding for a long time, so those are just going to die quickly in the back end, and now Reynor is really skyrocketing in supply, coming back from a ridiculous game with a failed proxy hatch spine rush, hiding a base in the bottom right, and now he's actually winning.
This is insane. This is like such a crazy comeback that you almost don't really have games like this.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the very start. That drone.
Oh my God.
He tried it twice and it didn't work.
Yeah.
The idea is you cancel the hatchery. There's just enough creep there that you can throw down the spine crawler. And he messed it up twice. And I mean, from there, I was like, I didn't even think we were going to go into a long game. I thought the rush was going to fail and he would leave in a fit of rage.
Just shame.
I'll tell you, man, that hidden base, I really firmly believe that if you have a failed cheese, one of the best things you can do is just hide a base.
Mm-hmm. You have to make some sort of massive gamble. Because if you're just going to try to go into a normal game at that point, you're just always going to be behind, and you're just going to just be like, well, I hope my macro and mechanics are better than yours, and I can eventually win. But like, it's not at this level going to be the case.
Going back a long time ago, there was this website called WGTour.com, and that was like a ladder, and everybody had to upload their replays. And I remember there was a guy named XDS Kiwi, and he was number one, and he played all three of the races. I'm like, dude, what is this guy doing? And so I was like downloading his replays. He hit a base in every game he played. And it was like, I was just blown away because like he was playing against all these great players. And it's like, wow, like he's just really good at hiding base. Because normally you don't want to just make that a thing you do every game.
Yeah,
like, now I hide a base.
It's just like easy
now
gimmick.
I flip a coin. Oh, I lost the game. It's like, that doesn't make any sense. But I do think that it's a really good idea if you are now in a terrible position but you're not out. That might be one of the best moves. So
yeah, no,
I like it.
It worked extremely well for Reynor in this particular match, and so it would be still awesome, though, of course, if you could just go over to our Patreon and maybe support us a little bit. That'd be really cool. We would love it. We've had a lot of people coming in lately to support us, plenty of different tiers.
It's a whole movement. We're starting a movement.
A movement.
Join the RSL Army at patreon.com/Revive SC2. We would love to get your support. It's been really exciting to see you guys sign up. And StarCraft II forever, man. We're going to take a short little break. When we come back, we're going to continue on with this best of 5. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for waiting. We're going to be going into this third game here. Hopefully, it's not a 3-0.
Yeah.
I mean this when I say this. That last game was one of the most memorable games I've ever cast, just because of how that comeback was insane.
Yeah.
I mean, he went from a failed proxy, like
2 times,
really failed. Like he sent me, when you cancel the hatchery, you're going to lose money. Do that twice and you still don't get it off. So the rush was a disaster into a hidden base that was eventually spotted and killed. Into then winning the game is crazy.
Yeah.
That is wild.
He lost his Roach Warren and his Evo Chambers as well, getting upgrades at the beginning of that whole like rally across the map, and he still was able to eventually push him back, rally.
It's just crazy. Like that's not how any normal StarCraft game is supposed to look. There's supposed to be consequences for failures inside of a game that lead.
You're supposed to have consequences.
Yeah. It's just like we talk about like fan fiction. It's like somebody just writes like the most over-the-top story of what happened. I'm like, well, that doesn't happen in games. That's like one of those games. Okay. So SHIN, I mean, definitely humbled by that last game. Let's see what he wants to try to do this time around.
Yeah, this is going to be probably a bit of a mental mountain that you have to climb as SHIN, coming back from a loss like that. I mean, coming back from both of those losses, the first game as well was just like a very solid, simple, kind of mirrored game up until the initial aggression, and then he just straight up died to the first big attack with the roaches.
Yeah.
And then the second game, you have that where you're just getting completely outclassed in like every way possible. That's like such a mental hurdle that you have to get over now as SHIN to come back 3 games in a row to win this series.
So right now it's one of those games where they're basically mirroring each other, but I mean it really is a testament to how scary Reynor is in ZVZ, and just able to kind of will his way through the game, so to speak. Now in this game, it could be one of these dramatic macro maps, which I do feel like that's maybe Reynor's strongest suit. When I cast him, is he's just very, very comfortable in the late game and able to take the initiative almost always first. The Overlord Kiss.
And then they phase through each
other, man. That was crazy.
That's a next level love. I've never seen that. But no, I kind of agree with you that Reynor feels like his overall strength in StarCraft is just his incredible speed and multitasking ability in later games, where he's just able to constantly be super aggressive with lings all over the place, just darting around with different armies nonstop. It feels like he's got 2 screens almost controlling both the armies at the same time at points. So I think that definitely lends towards his style. I think he just kind of wanted to bring out something cute in the second game to maybe just get a quick win and then just move on in the series.
Sure.
But going back to more what he's used to, I would say, in this third game as well, I think that just kind of goes towards his strengths as a player overall.
It's funny, they both have their ling pairs attacking this hatchery down here. So we're going to see if we see a spike in Zergling production or if it's just going to be a macro game. The Baneling's Nest never necessarily means there's going to be an attack, because you can make a Baneling's Nest for defensive purposes too.
Yeah, you just want to make sure you have an option to defend if the other player does go for the huge ling flood as well. If they go hard in the paint, like you were saying before.
Like I eloquently said earlier. So we've got a couple more lings. It seems like they're going to basically come out to be about even. The biggest difference right now is that SHIN does not have a Roach Warren at all.
Yeah, Reynor's going to go for a faster Roach Warren with the Bane Nest. So we'll see if this is maybe kind of a trick at this point to maybe make SHIN think it's going to be an identical build, essentially, to what he was going before, but then just not make Banelings at all, just go straight into a large amount of roaches and just trying to catch SHIN off guard in that way, because he's not making any drones at this point. He's down a lot of drones. He's super cutting and just going straight into those roaches, trying to feign this I'm just doing the same build as I did the first game, the same build that you're doing right now, but he's actually going for some really heavy aggression.
Yeah, this is going to hit really hard. And, I mean, there's 8 more drones popping out here for SHIN. He could just die.
Yeah, no, it's very possible. This thing doesn't get the scout, but it does, getting that crucial scout. I guess there's an overload right there anyways. Never mind. Would have seen it in half a second later. Anyways, ignore me, whatever. He's going to see everything, though. Will be able to find these roaches coming across. Needs to scramble, get as much defense ready as possible. He's got a spine in production, but his army count is going to be much weaker coming into this initial engagement. So we'll see if Reynor can find any window of opportunity with this momentum that he's going to have in this first push.
Okay, he's coming out now. Keep in mind the tech is part of the barrier. Okay, he's actually split these beautifully. The roaches are really doing some work over here in the front. The banelings can't quite connect. Yeah, you want those roaches, excuse me, you want the roaches to try to snipe the banelings when they come in. That's what's really important here, because then the lings can actually do all the damage. Oh, nice surround!
Oh, that's huge coming in from Reynor, catching SHIN out of position with this. It's going to allow the queen to die. It's going to allow the roaches to get absolutely massacred at this point. We'll be able to switch over to the left-hand side to try and kill some of these reinforcing roaches as more lings rally across the map for Reynor to continue to push this aggression to the limits of SHIN. Can he defend this attack? He's morphing in Ravagers as well with those low-health roaches to make sure they stay alive as long as possible. This should be a killed third. Assuming we're going to go for it, we're just going to go for the roaches yet again. It's the lings are going to trap them as well. ByuN getting thrown down, and this is looking very strong for Reynor.
I think this game's almost over here. I mean, I don't blame SHIN for trying to come out and defend no matter what, but its base is going to go down, and that's going to be it. GG. Beautifully done there by Reynor. A clean 3-0.
Yeah, that was just super solid. I mean, I guess I'm eating my words again when I say that Reynor should just play super good macro game and multitask styles when then he just goes into the aggressive he's one-hit punch again.
He's got a real range of play. Beautifully done. Okay, SHIN's out. So Reynor is the surviving Zerg of the tournament. Remember, we have almost no more Zergs left.
Yeah, that's literally Reynor.
At last. Finally, Zerg players. They're all at home. No! Squeezing their fist, shaking their fist at me.
They're all crying with their 50 trophies in their,
it wasn't enough to win all the tournaments for so long. Look, I actually think Reynor could just go all the way.
Yeah, no, he's playing really well. To be fair, though, this is very similar to last season as well, though. Remember when he did get dropped out to the lower bracket in the first match from the playoffs? Did 3-0 his first opponent in the lower bracket as well that time, too, in Hero, and now he's going to move on forward. So can he get farther than this is basically the question, because I believe this is when he got knocked out last time. I think he was playing against Clem. I think he matched versus Clem in the lower bracket after that.
That's right.
And he did get bopped by a sick Clem as well, I remember. So that was a bit unfortunate.
That's right. We mean ill.
He
was not just like...
He was also sick!
Yeah, sick. His gaming skills were sick. Actually, his gaming skills were ill, too. Yeah, that's right. I forgot. Reynor actually had a cold back then. So we're not done yet, guys, although I am a little sad that was that short.
Yeah.
We're going to be having Trigger versus ByuN next here. Little TVP for you.
And that's going to be hopefully super sick, because the first series that they had earlier in the group stage this season was insane. That had the single best game of the tournament, in my opinion. That crazy Cenotaph game, the super long, crazy back and forth TVP was ridiculous to watch. And so I hope we get even half that in this next series. That would still be a great treat to watch.
Guys, you know what to do. You're watching on your computer. Open up that second tab. Type in youtube.com and then go to our page and subscribe. We need to grow this thing.
Grow it.
We need more. We'll never be satisfied.
We need more subscriptions to feed ourselves.
I want the silver plaque when we get 100,000 subscribers.
We're going to put it right behind us. We're going to put it...
As I put it, it's going to be right up here on the wall. And then I'm going to be frowning. You'll be like, what's wrong, Tasteless? And I'll be like, I want the gold plaque now. We need 1 million subscribers. So the more people we get on that YouTube, in all seriousness, the bigger this the viewership of the tournament will get, because the algorithm will find people like you.
People that love StarCraft, like you, like me, like him, like Ziggy over there.
Yeah, like Ziggy. Ziggy's clapping his hands. He's trying to produce, but he's having so much fun. He's just clapping his hands like this. I'm so happy. Yeah. So we're going to have a short break. But when we come back, we're going to be going on to the second half of the day, a best of 5 here. Yeah, so we'll see you soon. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for waiting. We're going to be going on to little PVT for you guys.
Oh yeah, very excited about this. Like I was saying before the break, this was a highlight series in the group stage, so I'm very curious if it can match that hype coming into this next match, of course. Trigger versus ByuN. I mean, Trigger's been looking so solid in this matchup lately. He's been destroying all of his Terran opponents in this tournament at least. And unfortunately got a bit bopped by Classic earlier, just the other day in the upper bracket. So that's a little unfortunate. That's why he's even here in the lower bracket in the first place. But now that he's in a more comfort matchup for him, I would say, I think he's going to be feeling a bit more confident.
Yeah. Yeah, it should be a good match. I'm curious to see how Trigger's going to do here versus ByuN. ByuN's looking very strong.
No, ByuN is always very good.
Yesterday, excuse me.
Yeah, ByuN is always very good. I mean, getting placed against Maru is always rough. I mean, they're such great friends, though. They've played so many series. But he honestly did play very solid games. And look at that. Oh, my God, it's Xenotap again. This was the game. This is where it happened. This
going to happen again. I
can
feel it.
Oh, my God. I'm so hyped. I really hope. That game was insane. I literally can't even believe how good that game was.
Oh, it was so good.
I'm very hyped at this series. Love me some good TVP. But yeah, Trigger's going to be top left, ByuN on the bottom right. I'm very, very curious what the strategies are going to be, if they're going to switch things up from their last series. I always like watching that in a series whenever players play each other very closely in the same bracket or same tournament. How much do they shuffle up? What do they rotate out? What do they realize, no, this didn't quite work very well? What can I kind of bring in some new ideas? Or if they're just going to do the same thing and just kind of hope it works, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm just glad we have these maps in this tournament. People can vote on them, by the way, if you're a Patreon supporter. Mm-hmm. I think it's important you have a mix of like maps that allow for standard play and people can go on ladder and try that, but then you have some maps where it's like, all right, let's push the envelope a little bit here.
Yeah. We try to like pick get a selection of a few different types to throw out to the Patreon voters to vote for, and so yeah, I feel like this season we've had some pretty solid additions. The maps have been good, and the games on them have been pretty interesting too. Last season we didn't get to see as many of them, but this time I think we're getting a lot more picks for some of these maps, and so yeah, no, it's pretty cool to see them.
Okay, so we've got this first probe out here. Terran, excuse me, is saving up for the 400 minerals to make the command center. The probe is actually doing a good job blocking. Kind of annoying. And so that CC is going to be started here. And I don't think we're going to have too much going on. What was it, canceled?
Canceled
for a tech lab.
Yeah, I think he accidentally made a reactor first.
Yeah.
So he wanted to go into the tech lab instead, which is pretty interesting. We'll see what this actually ends up going to. If it's going to be a fast factory afterwards, could just go for some fast cyclones, I suppose, which is kind of normal. So we'll see what ends up happening there from ByuN. But actually, no, it's going to be a straight... Okay, I was thinking about this because this feels kind of weird. It's a little too early. Yeah, it's going to be a Marauder concussive opener out of ByuN.
Oh,
very, very unorthodox.
This is very unusual. I don't think I've seen this before.
This happens like every now and then. Like the Terrans just kind of randomly rotate this build in. I'm always curious why, because I feel like it almost never does anything. Like I feel like it's very hard to get damage.
Does he just rush with this?
What? What am I looking at?
What is he doing? This is insane.
Well, we had the ninja base in the last series. This time we're doing a unreasonably fast
So I guess you just pressure with the Marauders, and then...
that's so unfortunate.
The problem is, so when concussive shell hits, there's no way to escape. So he kind of drags the player into a place that they don't want to be in. Now he's getting... Wait, he's canceled Stim. Hold on. I saw it start, but then it disappeared, so he must have canceled it.
Yeah, I think he's just trying to get something else at this point. But I like the idea of this build coming out from ByuN, because what it looks like, it looks like these really aggressive Marauder plays where they sometimes go for just an early poke and then go into a 3 racks follow-up or whatever. And so from the front, this doesn't really look that weird or different from Trigger. He's played against this before. He knows what it is. It's kind of strange. It's kind of unfortunate that he's losing both these adepts. It's actually another nice play by ByuN to kind of bait that in and then was waiting on the outside with it. But this looks like a standard play that he's seen before, but he's got that fast third base just hidden really quickly. Trigger should never expect that to be coming at this time.
So
and you saw because he didn't even try to scout for it. Why would you ever think?
Hidden base, I mean, it's not even really hidden. It's right next to his net. I mean, that would be a great third base spot, but it's so early.
Yeah,
he didn't even check for it. I mean, these games you go, well, I don't need to worry about this or that, right? I mean, a lot of playing a good game of StarCraft is kind of understanding what you can factor out. Like, okay, a drop can come in at this time, or, they'll probably take a fourth base at this time. This is one of the quickest thirds I've ever seen, and it's off of this really obtuse tech.
Mm-hmm. And the craziest thing about this, too, is it's so early, and it's in position. Normally, if you get a fast third like this as a Terran player, it's always in your main, and it's not actually at the base yet. You still have to wait and float it over there. This is so early, and it's just right on position, so he's able to get the benefits from it immediately. The question is, of course, can he defend this? Because when you see a fast Marauder play coming out of a Terran player, it feels like as a Protoss, it's pretty easy to defend that initially and then just go into what Trigger is doing right now, which is going to just be a 4-gate blink Prism attack, and you should be able to basically control the mid game and be able to even punish them if they're out of position. And so at this point, ByuN, he's going to have to make sure he can get everything together. Stim is finishing perfectly on time, so that will help a lot. But if these bunkers don't get up, it's going to be really hard for him.
So, I mean, Trigger's going to do this attack here. He has a Warp Prism that's going across the map. You could just die as Terran here. Like, that's completely possible. Okay, he actually does get the bunker up. Does he have a bunker in the main?
I don't think he does. Which is, again, the scary part, because now we can just blink on into the main base. We don't really have too many units as ByuN, I feel like. I guess he does kind of... He hasn't been able to get kind of a decent amount, actually. But unfortunately, just this one bunker, I don't think Trigger realizes that there's nothing really in the main base. That would really be nice to get a blink up in there just to see what's going on. It's very risky to blink up when you know your opponent has Stim, though, because then you're so committed. So I think Trigger's just taking it the safe route and just will continually chip away at this forward position instead.
I mean, he's not really getting that much done. He's killed 7 SCVs, but does that matter if you took a third base so fast you're going to have so many workers?
Yeah, I guess we're going to get the scan just to make sure this Observer does get killed off, which is nice. So that's going to disallow any sort of high ground vision from that end. But now we do get the Prism in the main base, just dropping 4 Stalkers to try and one-shot some SCVs or some Marines. We'll be able to do so, blink on back, and just get on out of there and just try to manipulate the Terran as much as Trigger can to get more SCVs at the front. Because again, this looks by him to be pretty good damage. Like, he's killed quite a lot of SCVs. He's really not lost any of his Stalkers, and he's got his third base coming back at home. But he has no idea that we have a third base literally right next to this attack.
Yeah, this is painful to watch because there's this naked, exposed base, like one screen over, and he doesn't know. It's Hidden Base Day, guys.
Yeah, that's
Happy
insane.
Hidden Base Day. Happy Hidden Base Day, everybody.
Didn't you guys know?
Yeah.
No one got the memo,
You
apparently.
probably, when you watch this on camera, you go, they're matching in their clothes. I go, yeah, it's Hidden Base Day. Of course, we dressed up. So, I mean, it's just such a tragedy to see a rush like that could absolutely punish what ByuN's doing, and it's not going to go punished because Trigger hasn't even factored it in as a possibility.
I love it. It's hidden in plain sight. Like, why would you check there at this point? There's no reason for this base to be here. Is he? No, he's still not even going.
Right there.
He's still not even looking. Oh my God, this is hilarious. I can't believe we're getting this 2 series in a row. This makes no sense. All right, Prism back in the main base, trying to get, again, more SCVs. This time with charge lots instead. We'll be able to trade out a little bit more efficiently, but unfortunately, not paying attention, loses a few of those Stalkers, but thankfully Blink was off cooldown, was able to blink away in time. And ByuN, honestly, coming out from this pretty fine.
Well, I mean, the fact that he didn't really get much of anything done, I guess he did get some worker kills, that's fine, but, right now Trigger has vastly miscalculated what kind of game he's in right now. He still hasn't checked that, but it's crazy, man. So, Trigger is he doesn't know what kind of game he's in yet, right?
Dude, look at the SCV count. He's almost up 10 SCVs onto his opponent right now. Trigger is so unaware as to the economic situation that he's in. If the Terran is able to get this type of economy relatively unscathed, oh my God, he's finally going to find it. His heart is going to sink right now.
Oh my God, this is just going to be painful. He's like, oh. Now, if he clicks on the minerals, he's going to go, oh, God.
Yeah, I wonder actually if he even realized. Because, technically the third could be down at this time.
Yeah.
And it's not that weird.
Having a third base now is fine.
Yeah.
But the thing is, that third base was there in the first couple minutes of the game. So that's what I'm most interested in. So, he's going to try to come in here and hit. I mean, this is a pretty good angle with the Zealots.
This is actually not bad. It's a pretty good surround coming in from Trigger. A lot of his Zealots coming in from the back, though, a bit late. We'll be late to the party here and unable to do anything. We have
Did we have a crash here?
Some kind of a freeze.
Is the game crashed on your end, Ziggy? Okay. Oh, that's good.
Oh, hello.
Well, that's always a good sign. All right, so...
And the game's over.
All right.
Hey-oop.
Okay, well, Who won that? I didn't actually.
Trigger.
Trigger. Okay.
Trigger just walked in and won.
All right. Well.
Happy Hidden Base Day, everybody.
Yeah. Happy Hidden Base Day,
That's
everybody.
how it works.
Yeah. Be sure to check your stockings for hidden bases in there.
Just double check those minerals.
Yeah,
Make sure how much stuff is mine. You never know.
Yeah. Well, Hidden Base Day is about comedy and joy too. It's about having a little laugh.
It's true. Yeah. As long as you're having fun, that's all that matters.
As long as you're having fun. Well, that's how we celebrate Hidden Base Day. I can't believe how many hidden bases we're having in this cast.
Well, we're definitely not going to have any more. There's no way.
Don't say that. It could happen.
There's no way.
So I guess we'll just go into game 2 here. I like what ByuN did. Ultimately, it didn't end up working.
Yeah, that's a bit unfortunate. Again, everything about it, the idea of it, the way he was feigning, that build is not normal, but if you do see it, that's how it normally looks. And he was doing a very good job of giving that image, essentially. And unfortunately, it didn't really work, but I love the effort. I love the try. It's really cool when you see that kind of stuff come out.
It was a very different looking game. Mm-hmm. Getting concussive shells, which at least in the games I cast, I rarely see it rushed into. And the only time I do see it is when they put the barracks right outside your base. And they're going to try to snowball you on 2 bases. So I think we're going to be ready to go into game number 2 here. Right now, Trigger with a 1-0 lead versus ByuN. Remember that the loser is eliminated here from the RSL.
Yep, we're in the losers bracket. It is your final try for each of these players. They do not have any second lives at this point. And so we will be going off into Kill Switch, another newer map that we've got voted in here by our beautiful, wonderful Patreons. Patrons, not Patreons. They're patrons. Yeah, there we go.
Patreon supporters.
They're Patreon supporters. Yes. They're patrons. Yeah.
They're patrons of the Patreon. So we have an SCV out very early. Is this just a scout, or is he going to make something? eBay block.
Surely, I believe.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Look at Trigger. He's so afraid of something. He's looking for any proxies as well.
Yeah, he's got a probe moving down here. We'll see if he also hides a pylon. That's a possibility as well.
Classic did do that on this map at one point, I believe, last season, so that's technically a possibility, but I don't think Trigger is going to be the one to go for that kind of a play. I think he's been enjoying just his solid mid-game style. He's been really good at controlling the mid-games with his blink openers, whether it be with the Adept initially or with the Sentry to hallucinate Scout. He's been kind of versatile in that regard as well, so I think he's pretty comfortable just making sure these games go a little bit longer. He will just ignore the natural since the eBay was there and go for the fast third as the response. That is something that you can do. And on this map, it's interesting because it is still on a high ground position, which is a bit rare for some of these maps. So, yeah, kind of an interesting play on this one.
So, definitely going to be an uncomfortable game from Trigger, but we'll see how he plays this out. You can absolutely make this work.
Yeah, generally the threat is that they might go for fast Hellions, and then you are really out of position because it's much more difficult to wall off and deny the Hellions from just getting right into the mineral lines, in which case then the general follow-up from the Protoss is to go for a fast Stargate, so that way you can either get Oracles to just kill them very quickly or Phoenixes to lift them up. So that's generally how this has worked. In the recent couple months or so, it's not been the case with the new shield battery, recharge ability, for the sentries and whatnot. Makes it still pretty okay to defend these types of things. So we'll see what Trigger's idea is with this, going for Double Stalker for now, just to try and kill as many things as possible that might come across, and still go into that blink anyways.
Yeah, I like that you pointed that out about the third base there. It's very hard to keep that walled and safe from workers, so it kind of organically sets up in the Hellions that can do a lot of damage here. Yep. So, yeah, I mean, I don't think too much is going to happen for now. We're basically watching 2 fast expand plays here. Trigger is getting the Twilight Council. He could be going into Blink.
Yeah, it's most likely going to be Blink. If he were to get a Scout off, he would have seen that there's no fast tank play or anything. That Reaper actually just bounced himself and almost got himself killed. That would have been really funny. It will be just a Widowmine drop, though, so Trigger shouldn't really be going charge. There's no real reason to go charge first against a play like that, so will just be a Widowmine drop to try and get some amount of damage. Protosses are generally quite good at defending this nowadays, even getting a forward pylon towards the back of his base, just to get as much scouting as possible and start to mine out those minerals so he can get that watchtower in his main base as well, which is a pretty wild thing when you think about it, having a watchtower in your own main base to take control of. It's a pretty interesting map feature.
Yeah, I like it. I think it's great. Looks like he's going to get one probe kill here with this Reaper. That is, quickly falling off in value here for what it can do. We're going to have a Widow Mine drop coming in here. 2 probes killed overall, by the way.
Yeah, not too bad. We'll be able to get the scout that this third base is over here too, but it's unfortunate that he can't really dive too deep to get the confirmation, but I feel like everyone knows at this point you're just going blink. Like, there's no real thing to be scouting. You're not going to be going for Stargate or anything, so can just kind of assume that will be the blink play. Now the medevac going to come across the map here, try to get into this main base. There are a couple slow zones here as well, though, so that's going to kind of slow this down just a little bit and give Trigger just that much more time to react. Let's see if he is paying attention, and wow, that is just the quickest Stalker warp-in response I've ever seen.
Yeah.
That is full preparation for Trigger.
He's going to try to leapfrog the Widow Mines forward here. See if he can get any worker kills. He's going to actually leave one here. And this is going to end up hitting the Stalker. Nicely done. Meanwhile, we have a Warp Prism about to finish for Trigger, so he's going to be probably sending that out on the map. I would imagine that some of this game is going to look like the last game, obviously without ByuN's hidden base that he's never spotted. But other than that, kind of the same themes here. We're seeing the Warp Prism and the Stalkers come out here.
Yep, the Widow Mine's going to try to come back in, but it is, just perfectly timed here. And again, Trigger perfectly aware. Unfortunately, he pulls that a little bit too far. Almost killed a bunch more with the splash, but only 2 is not bad. But the Raven coming in with the auto turret to continue that pile-on damage is not too bad. This is really straining the multitasking of Trigger a little bit. But at this point now, the Blink Stalkers are ready at the front of the base. Tank in a nice position, though, to be very safe from any frontal pushes, but still dish out the damage. But the aggression will not stop there. Trigger wants to do much more with this, and he might even just try to blink over onto that tank if it's available. Doesn't quite go for it.
Can he? Oh my God! No. He can't quite get the bunker down. I repaired in time. That sucks.
Yeah.
Now he's going to blink up into the main. This tank is exactly where it should be. That's a very difficult tank to actually get to. He might not even try to do it. Yeah, he's going to back up.
Yeah, I love these positions of the buildings as well. This has become so commonplace for the Terrans nowadays to make it, so it's very difficult to just blink right on into the main base and get the targets onto the tanks. So I like how Trigger did that, just putting 4 up there just to test the water, so that way he can just immediately lift them all up in the prism without losing anything. Oh my God, please don't. Okay. I was going to say, if he lost all that, that would have been very embarrassing, but thankfully
quite bad.
Paying attention, so we'll be able to do that. Totally fine. Whoa.
Wow, that was ambitious. He did get that SCV there. Trigger's now taking his third base, where the eBay block was at the start of the game. More gateways are going to come down here. And, Terran's basically sitting back and macroing. We're getting the combat shields upgrade. And, as far as Trigger's concerned, he's just filling in the rest of his tech.
This is still a pretty good position from ByuN, though, I would say. He was able to get a pretty good amount of damage overall. It felt like little tiny bits of damage when you were looking at it, but it all kind of added up. A lot of probes were able to get killed off, and on the backside, he wasn't really losing many SCVs, and now this is an overextension from Trigger. A bit sloppy on that disengage, unfortunately losing a few more Stalkers than he wanted. And again, the turret coming back. Thankfully, that shield battery is in position, but not able to save a few more of them. So that's going to be, again, a couple more workers down. I think that's 10 in total that have died so far, whereas Trigger has not really killed many SCVs at all, I think, this game. So a nice defense with just little tiny bits of harass from ByuN to put himself in a pretty decent economic position.
So, I'm a little worried here for Trigger. Like, the army from ByuN is massive.
Yeah.
Like, this is going to hit like a ton of bricks here. I don't know. Now, I think the idea is basically good here. Use the Warp Prism to harass, but the Widow Mines take it out. And this is not going to be enough to slow down ByuN with this push coming out here. Now, if ByuN doesn't get much done with the push, that's going to be bad. But it looks to me like this is going to probably hit pretty hard.
Yeah, I love how ByuN made sure to target fire both of those Widow Mines onto the Warp Prism. It does require 2, and so he wasn't able to dodge the Widow Mine shots with the Zealots getting picked up or anything. Again, this Raven coming back in again. God, how much damage is this thing going to do? It's absolutely ridiculous. ByuN, though, if he gets caught in the slow zone, could be very awkward. Luckily for him, the Zealots weren't ready, nor were the sentries for any force fields. So we'll keep those alive for now, but this army, like you said, is just so large at this point. No upgrades either for Trigger on these gateway units, and he's supply blocked on this Colossus, so that's going to be a ways out. Could easily get sniped. Force fields need to be perfect, and they will be good for now, but that's all the energy at this point. He's going to need to recharge one of those sentries to be able to keep this Robo alive once these force fields die out, but now the Zealot flank is going to come in.
Yeah, the Zealot flank is going to be pretty good. It's too bad that he bled off a bunch of those zealots earlier, but I think there's too much infantry. Can he just power through this? Yeah, there's like nowhere to go. In fact, the Stalkers don't have anywhere safe to blink to.
Oh, no.
The Robo's going to go down. I think Trigger's taking this game. GG. There you have it.
A nice, solid game from ByuN. Like I said, just very little bits of harass here and there, getting just little bits of damage. 2 probes there, 2 probes here, ending up adding up.
Yeah.
While Trigger was going for something quite aggressive. When you're going for a 4-gate blink attack, it's not as economic as the 3-gate or the 2-gate, where you can just pick off like 2 or 3 SCVs and be fine. If you're going for a full 4 gateways, you need to still do damage, especially if you're losing 10 probes to Raven and Widowmine harass at the same time.
Yeah.
And that just didn't really happen, and ByuN was able to scale up pretty fine because of that.
Yeah, beautifully done. We're going to take a short little break. When we come back, we're going to continue on with this best of 5, currently tied up 1-1. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for waiting. Yeah, I mean, I'm glad we have at least a close series this time.
Yep, no 3-0.
No brutal 3-0,
Yeah.
We need to do a quick little plug because I forgot to before we close that out.
Oh, yeah.
Don't you want to join? Become a soldier in Tasteless's Patreon army. Consider signing up. Someone just signed up like a minute ago.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Whoever that guy is, you are sick. Welcome to the army.
Yeah. Welcome to the Tasteless Patreon army. I will die for the RSL.
Put me on the front line.
On the front line.
I'll take a bullet
Sacrifice me. We got different tiers depending on what you can give. So whatever you can give is great. If you don't have any money, you can at least what is it? Because it follow or like
you can follow.
You can follow it. Gives us your email. We can
put $1. Why not?
Yeah. So anyways, guys, we're going to go into game number 3. One of these 2 players is going to take a lead. Don't forget that someone is going to get eliminated here.
No.
From the tournament?
They're gone.
They're gone?
I'll
have to wait till Season 3
but
of
it's
RSL.
going to hurt their feelings if they can't play anymore.
Oh, they're going to be hurt. People get hurt in these tournaments, all right?
We're going to bring them out back and punch them.
That's right, yeah.
That series sucks.
No, I mean, it's elimination time, man. It's a grueling loser's bracket. ByuN, I think, played a much more straightforward game, by the way, in Game 2.
Yeah. No, it was very solid. It was just like a straight-up normal build. The eBay block was enough to pull Trigger to make him feel really awkward, and then you just have the back-and-forth Raven and Widowmine harass, considering the fact that he went for that forward third base, much more difficult to defend the different sides with all that harassment, and was just solid on the defense, and just felt really good out of ByuN. This time he's going to go going
considering
for
how insane Game 1 was.
Oh, yeah.
With sort of like Game 1, I'm like, are we going to have this every game? Is this just like a totally new way that the matchup works?
Yeah. It's going to be a double gas opener this time from ByuN. So again, we'll be switching it up. 3 games, 3 different styles. So we'll see what he's going to have in store for us this time. We'll see if it's going to be super aggressive or it's just going to be a simple Reaper Hellion into expand, and then maybe like a Widowmine dropper or Ravens or something like that. Usually is the play.
All right, so I would be very, very not surprised if we just see Trigger kind of do the same formulaic Stalker push with the War Prism and everything. This is going to be a game where there was no eBay block here, so Trigger's not going to have...
Whoa! Oh, never mind. Sorry.
What?
It's double Reaper, which is what I said was going to happen, but for some reason I was...
That's so funny. You said it, and then it happened, you're like, oh, this is crazy!
I don't know what just happened. My brain just, zoned out. I, forgot the last 30 seconds of what I already said. My bad. That's so funny.
So, yeah, he's going to have 2 Reapers. And then the Hellion's going to come out. Terran's just throwing the command center. This is basically tech front-loaded into a fast expand play.
Yep. Getting the early battery, of course, is Trigger just kind of not aware of what's happening because he didn't actually scout across the map. He only scouted his side of the map for any proxies and then just went right back home. So he's just playing in the most safe way possible, just didn't see anything on his side of the map, and so now kind of has to just account for the possibility of something aggressive like this play. So Trigger just kind of covering all of his bases, playing really solidly, doing no corner cuts essentially in his builds, just making sure everything is as clean as can be. And it should be working out pretty well for him, assuming that he is well positioned, of course, with all of his units and doesn't let those Reapers and Hellions too close to an unguarded mineral line.
Okay. We've got the 2 Reapers and the Hellion just trying to clean up this Adept. And this Adept is not going to get away. 2 more Reapers and 2 Hellions. It's a glitch in the Matrix. Look at this. They're going to come right out here. Is Trigger going to be ready for this? He's got a kind of an even spread defensively. There's 1 Stalker there.
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't see this very often. This is interesting. Okay, so he's going to come in. He wants to go for the main, I guess, yeah.
He's just going to bypass the battery.
He's like, I want the Stalker in the main, not the one in the natural.
We'll be able to kill one of those and then go on to the probes after that. We'll be able to get a few of them. Since there's so many Reapers, you can kind of just ignore the Stalker damage for now and just YOLO them onto the probes. A total of 5 going to be killed off here, unless he can maybe wrap around, get that last one. No, he's going to try to keep it alive. He loses it in the end, but 5 probes getting killed off is not bad, I would say. It's not like insane because obviously you suicide everything.
Yeah, you did lose a lot of units doing that. I never quite seen that little maneuver. That's very cute.
Yeah, he sees the battery in the natural and he's like, well, I'm not going to be able to damage it out, like out-damage it. So he just YOLOs into the main base, assuming that there's not going to be any units on the ramp, and was right in that assumption, and will be able to get the damage in the main.
Okay, well let's see where the game goes from here. Interesting that ByuN's kind of, approaching the game with a lot of novel ideas so far in this series. So we have tanks and Banshees coming here. Cloak is on the way, and we'll see how prepared, Trigger's going to be for this. Cloak is going to basically finish like right when the Observer could come out, but it'll really depend on where the Observer's positioned.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the first Banshee's going to be coming in. I wonder if he's going to wait with it or if he's going to go in. I would be amazed, actually, if he went in right now, considering Cloak is very close to being finished here. And we'll obviously see if Trigger leaves the Observer home or if he's going to send it across. I feel like Cloak Banshees in general have become a bit more popular in the matchup in the last month or so. I feel like I've been seeing them just more and more often, but looks like Trigger is just going to be sending it across with the Stalker, so not anticipating this type of a follow-up from ByuN. The Cloaked is finished. We'll be sending that in right away. No battery in the main base, I believe, so that should be an empty mineral line, and these probes will be getting killed off very quickly. You see the Panic warping in the main base, but there's no Observer. Got to recall that back. We'll be able to do just that, and that's going to be 5 or more extra probes killed off by the first Banshee alone. And I think there's another one actually in the third base killing more probes as well. Yes, it is.
Oh, dude, yeah.
Nice.
I was wondering why the Banshee stopped moving. I'm like, what? Did he like misclick that badly?
It gets away. Oh, that's so brutal.
My God, he got away with the crime. Stim has started to be researched. Oh, wow. Nice.
That's diligent from Trigger, actually, to chase it that far. I feel like most players would have just ran back home and just been like, ah, crap, I can't get it at this point. That's actually pretty smart, because I think he realized how much energy was left on it. He was that attentive to realize that it was actually going to run out in time. That's actually very... it's not huge, but it's actually kind of a cool thing to notice that he was paying attention to that. So we'll be able to kill off that Banshee as it's trying to get sent back home on the map. Now, that does allow Trigger to be a bit more aggressive. Since he has killed both Banshees, that does free up a lot of that space, so he doesn't actually have to leave any of his Stalkers home. So that is a big play in the end, to be able to kill both of them off. So feeling probably good, despite the fact that he did lose quite a few workers on the back end.
Okay, it's going to be time to push out here. It looks like this push is engineered to hit right when Stim finishes. He's got to be careful, though, because there's Stalkers right out here. Trigger backs up. It's not clear, by the way, that he doesn't have Stim. That's one of those things, you know what I mean? You might just assume that that's already there. But, I think the real tell is the fact that he hasn't pulled the trigger for that yet.
Yeah. Generally, they probably would Stim just a few units to try and chase down some of the Stalkers, but for now, I think Trigger can realize that it's probably finishing in the next couple seconds. Ooh,
dude, good zoning by Trigger.
Oh, don't go with the ramp. Ah!
Spoke too soon. I was about to say, wow, he even backed out before, the tank siege. I'm like, it's pretty perfect. And then he just walked in there and got shot. So we have the third CC started, but we are going to see a push here. Stim's going to be done.
The Colossus is out, 2 of them as well this time. So unlike that other game where we had the Colossus being supply blocked for all eternity and wasn't even able to get out because then the Robo got sniped, this time we will have 2 Colossi on the defense, and Trigger was able to ramp up and supply pretty heavily in the last 30 seconds, 45 seconds or so. So at first it looked like he might get overrun, but now he's going to have a solid army to meet ByuN on the map, kill off the tanks, kill off the Widow Mines, and will be able to take a nice engagement and keep ByuN away from his side of the map.
Okay, he's going to end up just eating that Widowmine shot. That's a little crazy. I think Trigger's got to be a little bit careful here, but he's pretty confident he can keep pushing here. Nice, just goes ahead and baits that out. He's got a War Prism. Can he go all the way back to ByuN's base and just come in here and hit? I imagined in my head this is going to be Protoss defending a Terran push. It's completely been turned on its head.
Yeah, the fact that he killed off all the tanks and mines in the middle of the map means that he's rightfully assuming there's not going to be any tanks back at home. Nice micro, though, from ByuN to snipe one of those Colossi. Unfortunate from Trigger, not quite close enough from the Prism to juggle it. So that's really going to hemorrhage this push, not allow him to actually go as far as he probably wanted to, because he was trying to abuse the fact that he killed off all those tanks earlier, meaning it was just going to be Byo on the defense. But now there's really nothing he can do. It's going to be very risky to go any further. Has to back up.
And I mean, you know, the reality is, even if you don't kill Terran here, excuse me, if Terran doesn't have a third base, you're in pretty good shape. So I think that we can probably see Trigger move out again, and just keep checking and keep poking in. So there's going to be a small drop here, just throwing some Zealots in here, and this is going to be paired with movement on the map from Trigger towards where this third base is.
You can even see ByuN is just already bringing the third base back. He realizes the move that Trigger's going for. He's like, no, I cannot get this third base right now. I need to make sure this Prism is dead first, get the Viking on it, kill that off, and then reallocate everything in the front.
Yeah, no recall there.
Yeah, maybe just thought it was going to die.
Yeah,
just anyways.
Just make another one. It's you know, maybe it's more important to have a recall later for the fight. I don't know. Fourth base coming down. Now let's remember that you know, generally speaking, there seems to be this issue in the meta here with this matchup where the longer the game goes on, the easier it gets for Protoss, as long as they just keep adding in different types of splash damage.
Yeah, once you can actually get the Colossus and then the Templar as well is when you really start to feel the power of the late game Protoss army. This time Trigger, though, is really staying on the Colossi instead. He's not gone for a Templar Archives, not gone for Fast Storm. And so this will be a bit of an older style of PvT compared to a lot of Terrans that are so used to playing against much faster Storm. You can already see that ByuN went for the fast Ghost transition as well. He's got plenty of them out already. Realizing, though, that it is going to be mostly Colossi, still going into the Vikings as well to make sure. Because that's a 4 Colossus army, actually. That's more than what you'd normally see. Generally, you stop at 3. But at this point, he's trying to maybe bait ByuN into maybe going too far into Ghosts and not actually responding correctly with enough Vikings.
Okay, another scan here. And Protoss continues to grow. Trigger right now at about 183 supply. ByuN cooking at 170 now. And we're getting to the point where it's going to be a boiling point for this match, where, you know, Protoss can keep growing. Trigger seems to be more willing to just kind of try to attack in and do stuff. You know, you look at Classic as an example, and he'll just kind of like, it's almost like he's playing like City Skylines or something, just staying back and like making bases, and eventually he knows someone's going to attack him. I like the angle here. It's a little bit of a fractured attack, but in the end, it does end up being a really nice surround. Oh my god, I don't know that ByuN can handle this much damage.
That is a lot of EMPs, though, on the Zealots, but unfortunately, they're just not really dying quick enough. But the Vikings will be able to kill off a few of these Colossus, assuming they actually focus fire, but they're really spreading their damage over all of them at the same time. So that means almost none of them get killed off.
Get died off.
Get died off. I almost said it. It's true.
I mean, that was brutal. You know, it's funny because, like, yeah, the Vikings are going to kill the Colossus, but the Colossus has already killed all the infantry. By the time that's done, it's over. Kind of a weird game. It was sort of just ByuN kind of sitting there, and eventually he died. Never really had his moment. I thought he was going to hit with that push, but I guess the Stalker zoning just kind of made that not possible.
It was just really good positioning from Trigger to catch the army and really punish the tanks from being unsieged, because if the tanks were sieged in a better position, then it's going to be much easier, of course, for ByuN to push that army away. But I think Trigger just did very good at realizing when the attack was coming and cutting probes at the right time, because a lot of times you might see a Protoss kind of over probe at some points and just not have enough units to defend the push, and they just die to that. But I think Trigger just managed it very well, even with considering the fact that he lost so many probes to the Banshees. I was really surprised that he was actually able to get so many units out to combat that push and just put himself in a much better position than he really should have in that mid game, I feel like.
Yeah, let's see if ByuN can fight back here. I mean, Trigger with maybe one of the most straightforward games we've had in the entire tournament. You know, just kind of built up, got that right comp. It was an older style of play, too. I'm glad that you kind of pointed that out. It's not the hyper-modern stuff we're seeing like from Classic as an example, which is fine. I mean, do what works for you. We're going to be going now on to Game 4. It's loading up here, and we're going to see if ByuN can bring us to a Game 5 or if he's going to be knocked out and Trigger survives to the next part of the RSL.
It's going to be everyone's favorite map to pronounce. It's Tokamak. Going to be great to see if we can get a cool match on this particular map again as well. But a pretty staple map at this point. But yeah, I know. I like we were kind of saying a little bit about the Colossus pick from Trigger. I think in the last series that they played as well, it was very focused on the Templar play from Trigger, and so I think he's kind of switching it up this time to maybe catch ByuN off guard in that way, like I was kind of alluding to as well. So I like the change-ups overall in the matchup from both of the players trying into these different games to make it so it's not just a carbon copy of their group stage match.
Okay, I mean, the scouting probe is going to come down here across the map, and I hope from ByuN we have something a little bit more interesting here. That was kind of brutal. Kind of just stayed back and, powered up, and eventually the Protoss was too big and came in there and killed him.
Yeah, it's kind of rough at times when you just kind of get pulled apart for too long. I think after the push got dismantled and then the third base got delayed for quite a while, it really just allowed Trigger enough time to rebound from the Hellion Reaper and Cloak Banshee harass, and so just was able to find a solid position, then getting a really good engagement on that third base with the flank coming in as well was really well done. ByuN just a bit too caught off guard in that particular moment. But this time we'll be just kind of going back to a more standard Marine first expand build, it looks like, off of the 1 gas, so nothing too crazy here, just trying to make it so he can get into his tech.
Wait, is his building placement messed up where the probe was going around with the gas? Did you see that?
Trigger's base?
Yeah.
I was not looking at that.
I don't know. There was a probe that was like, oh, I see. Okay, he just pulled it out. Okay, I thought he messed up his placement, and it was like,
yeah.
It's like one of the worst things. Like right when you start StarCraft, you're like, oh, if I make a building here, I'd like lose money. Okay, like that's. Anyways, we've got a second CC here in the main base. And I would not be shocked if we just have a Twilight Council into Robo, into War Prism, like the same stuff we've had before.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting this time as well, this series. Trigger has not gone for the Fast Sentry, I think, in any of the games, which is, again, the flavor of the patch, essentially, going for these Fast Sentry Hallucinate builds. Okay, there it is. Nice. So yeah, we have not seen it until just now. So finally going into that style to get the dedicated scout. Did not see the CC on the low ground, so really wants to know what's happening in the main base here, since ByuN is trying to hide it in the main, essentially to feign some sort of very early aggression or something like that, or just to make it as mind gamey as possible. So we'll be getting that fast hallucination, getting to know exactly what will be happening in ByuN's base and know what's going to be coming his way soon.
Well, this Twilight Council's halfway done. The Cyclone's going to be popping out here for ByuN, as we're going to see the finishing up of the 1-1-1 here. It's been fun casting Trigger's games, by the way. He's, for me, like the kind of the newest player, because I cast a lot of the same players, especially like GSL and everything. But yeah, it's cool to have these younger, fresh players out here and kind of see what they've got, see how viable they are. Charge is coming out here with the second gateway, or 2 more gateways, excuse me.
Yeah, the Charge first is cool. I think he's doing it just because he saw that it was a fast tech lab into the Cyclone, which could then potentially go into an early tank push. And so he wants to have just the general beefy army engagement, essentially, instead of the mobility from the Blink. Having fast charge versus some of that could be very good. But ByuN is just going to be switching it up back into a Widowmine drop anyways after the Cyclone drop. Just the Cyclone opener. So it's not really going to be an early tank play. So we'll see if Trigger is able to still find value with this early charge, because then, again, having Blink much later against Widowmine drop, against Raven harass, makes it pretty awkward to defend against. So we'll see if that ends up coming into play.
Okay, scouting Hallucinated Phoenix, just to see, is everything kind of par for the course here in this game. The Widowmine drop is coming. He actually has all the Stalkers on the ramp, which will defend neither the main or the natural, so this will be able to come in. Maybe that's the play, is you kind of let them unload here and then dive on it.
Yeah. Sorry, it's very difficult to get under the medevac usually, so it's also annoying because sometimes if you defend it too well and then they're able to react in time, then they just leave and then you just don't actually end up killing any of the units. And
yeah, that's a good point.
That's also annoying, especially if they end up just darting it into the dead space behind the main base or something.
Right.
You always have to leave stuff there to account for. So if you can kind of like bait them in to at least drop something and then you go and respond with the units in position, it still ends up being pretty okay for yourself, I think.
So yeah, I mean the Widow Mine drop, not too consequential. It got one worker. He traded that out for the Widow Mine. Templar Archives coming here. So this is actually like what Classic was doing, which is basically you just rush into Storm and then you kind of just blob out on the map. You kind of just continue to try to grow in it everywhere, and then you try to get your second and your third set of splash damage.
Yeah, this is a good scout from the Observer to see this army moving across the map as well from ByuN, as that is going to be the follow-up. Supply blocked for just a moment there as well will delay some of that, but I like the Hallucinated Phoenix also scouting that medevac over on the right side, making sure that's not coming in at any awkward time. So Trigger's really fully aware of the play that ByuN is setting up here with the forward attack and the medevac on the right-hand side at the same time. Does he have everything to be able to defend against, though, is the question. He does have charge, so this ended up being the correct play since ByuN did go for one of these tank pushes after the Widow Mine drop. So the charge will allow him a decent engagement, but the Widow Mine drop coming in at the exact same time, perfect reaction again. Trigger's been so on point with those, but then the engagement happening at the same time as well, jumping on the position and completely dislodging it.
That was insane. It's like, oh, never in a million years was that push going to work. Does Protoss just like aim move across the map now?
Honestly.
I mean, I guess that's what's going to happen. He's like, all right, we... That's funny because the setup from ByuN, I'm like, oh, this is beautiful. He's going to have like a Widow Mine drop that's going to be hard to stop, and he's got a decent position. And clearly that was not the safe play there. He's going to run in. Oh, these SCVs, they got to stay away from that Archon. That's a lot of damage. I think the bunker alone makes you uncomfortable enough to not try to move in here. But yeah, I mean, ByuN's in trouble here. He's just started his third command center, so his whole attempt to kind of close the game out completely blew up in his face.
Yeah, that just is not the situation that ByuN was looking for coming into this. I mean, he really was hoping for at least something to do any amount of damage, whether it be the Widow Mine getting a nice hit in the main or the forward drop or the forward position actually working out for him, but both get completely blocked. Trigger is extremely on point, but now the double Banshee will try to find some damage. Maybe this is where all the damage was going to be had, as it does get 6 probes and will run into the natural to try and get a few more, but will be back deflected by some of those stalkers, and even jumped on, potentially losing one of them is not great. Was that actually, can you... Yeah, I think that is possible to just hide that in.
Yeah, you can keep that there. They can't get there. So Psystorm's about to finish up. And, I mean, things are looking very smooth right now for Trigger. ByuN's not dead. Oh, no, never mind.
Unlucky. I was going to say, I feel like I've tried to keep Oracles back there in PvZ sometimes, and I do not keep them alive. So I was like, wow, wait, can I actually keep them there?
I thought you actually were safe there. I was totally wrong. So we are going to see the Warp Prism come out here, and I think the game's actually going to get pretty simple. I think that Protoss is basically going to wait for Terran to take a third base and then attack it.
Oh, that's so unlucky that this Stalker is trying to hunt the other medevac and just barely doesn't scout the other 2 that are now getting sent across the map. Will Trigger be prepared for this is the question. He doesn't really have an observer in any of the dead spaces or anything, because of course the Robo is generally much later with this style, so you're not able to do so. So that's going to be unfortunate if he's a bit out of position. He should have a recall prepared. I don't think he's used any of this game yet, so he will be able to respond in that way if needed. But there's really nothing else besides the drop happening at this current point anyways, and he does see that with the forward observer as well, so I think he should be feeling pretty comfortable to defend this once he does actually see the drops coming into his main. Okay.
We are just waiting. Protoss continues to grow. The Forge just finished up. And, Trigger's just using this Warp Prism to basically come through here and harass when he can. Take whatever you can get. He just now identifies that there's this third base that's going to be over here. Nice Storm drop.
That would have been so good if he could have gotten them all clumped up right there. Yeah. That was very nice reaction from ByuN.
Well, I mean, Storm dropping's great. Over time, you can just kind of melt their workers down. And, I don't think there's a lot that Trigger has to do right now. I think he basically just continues to attack in here. He's getting his Colossuses now with Thermal Lance. He's getting to that kind of that death ball where there's almost nothing you can do against it as Terran.
Yeah, he's definitely rounding out very nicely. His upgrades are quite late, which is the only other thing that happens with this style, is that since you're going so fast into the storm, you're going you're going into so many units in general that you do have to cut something, and that is the upgrade. So he's going to be a little bit behind on that. Luckily for him, ByuN didn't quite start his 2-2 super fast either, but regardless, he's still going to be much ahead in that regard. So Trigger will need to make sure he doesn't kind of just lose out on the overall unit scaling, but the splash is, of course, what is going to be doing the big brunt of the damage, essentially, in these engagements.
Right. It's been a very quiet game outside of that storm drop here. You know, since that push failed, ByuN has basically just gone back and played single player here. But, you know, we're getting to the point where both armies are going to be maxing out, and that should be when, you know, the punches start to be thrown here. Terran just continuing to scan here and kind of monitor the pacing at which Trigger's growing. Trigger's now getting into a 5th base.
Yeah, he's definitely putting himself pretty nicely into a longer game. I'm very curious why ByuN is kind of sitting with that drop for so long. I mean, he set that up for like forever ago at this point. Obviously, he's waiting for the most opportune moment when he knows that Trigger is out on the map, but I'm just surprised that he set it up that early. I feel like that's a pretty big gamble if he just kind of gets attacked at any point in time before that. It's like, well, now that's just half your army that's just sitting on the other side of the map, which I guess he would then just, you know, boost into the main and attempt a pseudo base race style thing. But regardless, it's just been sitting there this whole time, is still yet to do anything. I mean, Trigger is out on the map at this point, so maybe now is about the time when that can get thrown in, and then we can try to do something as ByuN on the map. But like you said, for now, he's really just kind of sitting back and just trying to make sure he can set himself up on these 4 bases.
Okay, Trigger's moving down now. He wants to hit the 6 o'clock spot. This is a maxed out Protoss army versus a maxed out Terran army. The question is, how will ByuN deal with the splash? The stim comes in. He's going to try to shimmy the Colossus over to the front. And he's got the Immortals over here in the front as well. The whole formation's looking pretty good.
Oh, that storm is ridiculous on that Bio army. The dance was pretty good from ByuN up until that point, but Trigger also doing a great job of keeping his Colossi back. Now ByuN going in with the drop, waiting with that for so long. Another EMP going off onto those Templar, but the Vikings honestly getting splashed by the Archons and some reinforcing Templars will force this back, and that base does get killed off. But on the back end, this third is also looking like it's going to get sniped. But the question is, can ByuN even hold this army, because it's just looking ridiculous in size.
Okay, he's continuing to push in here. I mean, I don't know that the Protoss army can be stopped right now. He is just rampaging through this base. Now, getting the kill on that Nexus is huge. The problem is that if Trigger is not stopped over in this position here, the whole game's going to end and Terran's going to lose.
Yeah, no, that is a great engagement coming in from Trigger. He wasn't really paying attention on the Templar back at home, but it's because he was destroying the army at the front, even going for this crazy Immortal swap in the late game. I've seen him do this before with mixed success, but this time it looks like it's working very well to have a really solid backbone to the army. We'll be able to actually slowly kill off some of these units as the units come back from the top. An unexpected flank coming in from ByuN, losing 46 workers, but will clean up the army. Is this actually enough? I feel like this is going to just be a rinse and repeat for Trigger, because that is massive economic damage.
I mean, 46 workers were killed in that. So right now it's 71 probes mining for Trigger. It's 35 for ByuN. So make no mistake, ByuN is in terrible shape. I mean, he survives the attack. He needs to counterattack, because if he doesn't get any value here, I mean, Trigger is going to balloon up into 200 supply again and just come in here and smash him. But I don't know, man. This is going to be a real Hail Mary play here for ByuN.
Yeah, he's really putting all of his cards in this attack. Everything is being rallied across the map with this one push. The Colossus even able to just poke away at this army. There's no Vikings here, so he's forced to use his stimmed Marauders to try and poke up at this Colossus. You can see this ridiculous Prism Micro up until the point where he doesn't do it, but that's okay. Was keeping it alive for quite a while at that point, but the Storms are able to kind of bail him out at that point. And yeah, so ByuN obviously at such a terrible economic position, but he still does have one of those bases. Is that actually being remade, or is that, I think that's actually on position. So Mules will be able to still keep him alive for now economically with some of these SCVs coming back in. So his army still looks pretty threatening overall. It's still large in size. So Trigger still has to kind of respect this. He can't just assume that he's going to walk over the game after killing all those SCVs.
Second Robo here coming down. ByuN has, remade some of those workers. He's still very, very low. 46 is painful. Obviously, Terran has mules, so they can get some extra money that way. But yeah, let's see what happens. I think Trigger's maxed out now, so it would make sense for him to try to move in. He's getting the third set of splash damage by having disruptors here.
Yeah, it's very tricky to actually micro all of these together, of course, getting the disruptors on the right targets, getting the storms down, getting feedbacks down, and making sure you don't just lose all your storms to a big EMP. It's not the easiest thing in the world, as maybe some Terran players would like to disagree, but there's the storm onto the Fat Army as well. Nice EMP onto that. Trying to go for a Zealot drop on the right side. That was a bit ambitious from Trigger. Nothing really to happen there, but nice micro overall from ByuN to keep this army at bay for now. Doesn't just fall over and die at this point. His army, like I said, still very large, and since he lost so many SCVs prior, now his army is much larger in size. He's able to build this out with a larger army, doesn't have as many SCVs taking up his overall supply count, so that will still be very threatening as the EMPs continue to go off on this army, and now the engagement is looking pretty decent for ByuN as all of the Colossi, all of the Templar are getting killed, but now the Zealots are the main threat on the ground.
Ooh! Just clips off that Marauder there at the end. I don't know, that went pretty poorly actually for Trigger. I think ByuN might be able to fight back, and I don't know that this army can actually get away.
Yeah, he's going to try to go for the chase at this point. The Disruptor already used its shot, will be just dead at this point as everything is getting choked up going up this ramp as well. Free pickoffs for ByuN as he's steamrolling across the map to try and capitalize on that incredible engagement. Really, you kind of just saw how much larger the army was from ByuN, but now Trigger trying to again jump on this, using another Disruptor shot, getting a few units here and there, and the Vikings just getting left to nothing on the right-hand side. Will be a bit useless at this point. And ByuN is starting to lose a little bit of steam. These medevacs are also super low on energy. He needs to be very careful about these follow-up engages.
I mean, I think Trigger has stabilized. That was a little scary. The attack went so poorly, I thought this might actually be this crazy comeback from ByuN. Again, this army lacks the sophistication that we saw earlier. You don't have the Colossi with it yet. I don't see Templars with this either, although you can probably pocket that in a Warp Prism. But ByuN is surviving. Trigger maxes out again. ByuN here at 154 supply. He's back up to 50 workers now.
This is also looking very good for Trigger on the upgrades. I was saying earlier that he was quite behind in that regard and that ByuN had a good moment with that. But now, since he's forced ByuN into such a bad economic position, he's forced to use all of his resources on units. He's had to skip his 3-3 upgrades until just now, and even that, he's only getting his +3 attack, not armor. So now Trigger's gotten the 3-3 finish. That's going to be really good for him in these engagements. But this is kind of similar to that last series they played in the groups, because it was really Trigger not able to get solid engagements over and over again. This time, oh my god, a nice last-second pickup to make sure they dodged those units. But unfortunately, that last Disruptor shot does finally get a connection as the rest of the units coming from the top side getting jumped on by Trigger. And like I was saying before, the engagements aren't really super efficient from Trigger. He's bleeding out units here and there. He's getting a lot of EMPs onto his army. This is very similar to that one crazy game they had in the first group stage where really Trigger just had the whole map but took forever to actually close it because the engages kept just going ByuN's way with the efficiency.
Yeah, kind of crazy here. Trigger is going to kind of wind up for another attack, and this is a really scary army composition. He's got to be careful. Things like that, like having a Colossus stray on the side, could cost you the game.
Yeah, this is looking very good now for ByuN to try and go into here, baiting out these Disruptor shots one at a time, making sure they don't find any actual good connections. How many storms do we have? It looks like only maybe 2 or 3 in this fight, so one EMP could knock all of that out. The Viking count is completely non-existent, though, so the Colossus switch back is very nice from Trigger. Good splits as well from ByuN to make sure these Disruptors don't hit. They've not really been finding too much damage overall until just now, again, getting a nice Ghost and a couple Marauders. Those are really what you're trying to get as Trigger.
Yeah, Trigger, I mean, look, here's the thing. This base, everything's mined out. Or, you know, and the third base will mine out. So it's like all about this fourth base. So basically this entire game comes down to if ByuN can keep the Protoss off of his back. If Trigger wins one fight, he's going to kill the base, and he's going to win the game. And Trigger is, by the way, massive on the map here. Just so many bases.
Oh, that Disruptor shot. Both of them getting sniped before they can actually land. ByuN, nice on the target fire, able to deny that. But now the SCV is getting massacred yet again on the back line. 50 of them died earlier, 14 of them dying now, as ByuN is trying to push the issue, realizing that the army is a bit spent with all those Disruptors and Templar getting killed off. But he's losing bases all over the place at this point as Trigger continues to expand to the top left of the map.
I mean, ByuN is barely alive right now. I gotta say, that was just brutal what Trigger did. He just he had this small counterattack, and he just kept taking only convenient fights as he retreated. Because he's like, all right, well, this is just getting me further ahead at this point in time. And eventually he's going to pull this army back here where he has to defend. Again, we're only really looking at 6 o'clock here. This is the only thing that's keeping ByuN in the game right now.
Yeah, that's wild. He's really just on absolute nothing at this point. Look at the income grab for Trigger. That is just ridiculous. Has been completely outmassing. Walking through that storm as well from ByuN. Unfortunately, losing a lot there, and he's just going to realize it's a lost cause. Trigger will 3-1 ByuN, repeating his success from the groups.
Doing a little trigonometry back there.
Whoa, that was a sick joke.
That was, yeah, thank you. Thank you. Great series. ByuN unable to kind of keep up there. Trigger in some ways making it look very easy. You know, for me, that's my favorite approach from the Protoss is the 2-base into Storm, into getting Colossus later, into getting Disruptors, and it's kind of like, I don't know, you figure out how to kill me. You know what I mean?
This is your problem.
This is your problem. I'm gonna be back here defending, and you could see it's very tough to deal with.
Yeah, once you get everything set up, the Storm makes it very difficult to actually punish on those 2 bases. You can even see as well Trigger kind of adapting a little bit to the early attack. Since he went for charge first and realizing that the Storm wasn't going to be in time, he was able to combine that with just a faster Archon instead.
Right.
And that allowed him to jump on that initial push and just completely dislodge it, and it was a nice adaptation that he made. So it's a very versatile style as well, given the fact that you can go into those different reactions.
Yeah. Great stuff. Great day of games. So there you see Reynor absolutely shattered SHIN. I mean, Reynor definitely is the
just
better Zerg for sure. Yeah, just power bombed him through the table. You know what I'm saying? Power bombed him.
Power bomb.
You know, do you even watch fake wrestling? I mean, what are we doing?
No, I actually don't. I'm not a
either.
WWE guy. No.
I actually had a buddy of mine. He tried to get me to watch with him, and he was super into it. And I was just like, I don't know, man. I can't get into this. Like, maybe I had to be into it when I was a kid. But,
yeah.
So, anyways, guys, that's what our bracket is looking like so far. I'm sorry. Tomorrow, are we doing winners, or do we go to? Okay, tomorrow is going to be Kier Zhao and Classic Maro.
Yeah. 2 more TVPs to round it out, and then we'll be going into the final week next week as well, which is what this graphic is so prepared for. So that's really cool. Yeah, everything is going to be rounded up in the Thursday through Sunday next week when we will crown an RSL season.
We will knight a champion. I'm excited. This has been so fun and so rewarding to do, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. So we're in Season 2 right now. Season 3 is going to be later this year. And then we're going to have the RSL offline finals. We're still mapping this out. I got to have a couple meetings up here and figure out what dates we can get this venue. There's one we're looking at right now. I'm not going to say where because we might look at another one and change our minds. All right, we're kind of making these venues all kind of fight for us here. But we'll have those dates. So if you want to buy a ticket and fly in, you can see it if you're living in Korea. Yeah, come on down.
Yeah, it's going to be super sick.
It's also going to be in English when we cast it, because I think a lot of people, they watch live StarCraft out here, and it's always, they make you wear headsets and GSL to hear me.
They give you the little radio.
Not anymore, nation of Korea.
The foreigners have taken over.
That's right, the foreigners are here. No, it'll be broadcast in English. That'll be cool. I think it might be the first event we've ever done that for in Korea. It just occurred to me when I was in the venue. I'm like, we could just pipe out the English.
Yeah. Super sick.
Anyways, guys, we are sponsored by Archon Studio. They're the official partner of the RSL. They're making the StarCraft tabletop miniatures game. You want this. You got to get this. It's going to be on pre-sale later this year. We don't know the exact date when, but when they tell us, we will be sure to let you guys know. If you're a fan of StarCraft, you'd be insane not to get this.
Yep. Very excited to have it in the studio once we actually get it.
You'd be a crazy person. A StarCraft fan that doesn't have that, you know where they are? They're banging their head against the wall in a mental institution because they're insane. Okay, that's where they are.
Because they don't
because
want a
they've
tabletop
lost
game.
their mind. Because they didn't get the tabletop game. So, guys, definitely check them out. They got a ton of great products on their site. So you think you find something you want.
We got a fake switch over there.
was-
Ziggy,
yeah.
go, do it now.
All right.
Patreon.
Join
us in the RSL Army.
I pledge $5 a month to join Jason Patreon Army.
Take my RSL money. What's like the
This is for the cause. We got different tiers depending on, how much you're willing to give.
how much money you've got in the pocket?
How much you want to go. We don't want to judge you. Maybe you're, killing it. Maybe, maybe you can't afford to do it right now. I understand that.
Yeah,
Some
that's
people are
fine.
in tough times. You could at least go on the Patreon page
That's true.
and follow it or whatever.
Take a look, see it. Take a little gander, see what you might
By
like
the
a
way,
little bit later.
The Patreon people have taken notice to
Yeah.
us. I just had a phone call with one of them recently. They had some questions about how it's going. They're super excited about what we're doing over here. This is kind of a unique thing that we're doing. Is we a little broadcast space in Seoul, putting on professional StarCraft tournaments. So, it's been great, guys. So consider signing up. We've got merch.
Oh yeah.
And here's the thing. If you go outside of your house and you're naked, they arrest you, okay? They arrest you. So why don't you buy some clothes and make them RSL clothes? Okay?
Unfortunately, we only got the tops. We don't have anything to cover the bottom.
That's an issue, okay?
You
You
might-
can't just wear RSL stuff, all right?
You might need to get a little crafty
Maybe
if you're
you
only
can get a little
using
mug and
RSL
cover your
stuff.
private parts downstairs with that. There you go. What about that? We're
was it-
solving problems in real time here.
You can get 2 buttons.
You can get 2 pins to cover your very tiny genitals. That's great. So just, so if you want to get some merch, it's 20% off. 20% off only if you're a Patreon supporter. It's not for everybody, okay? We're not that crazy. And most importantly, you need to join our YouTube. We're trying to grow this thing out. We're trying to get this into the algorithm. We're trying to do what we call cross-pollination, where people on YouTube find us and they go to our Twitch. The people on Twitch find us and they go to our YouTube.
I'm so laughing.
Yeah. I'm not wrong.
I can't stop. Oh my God.
Try leaving your house without clothes on. You're going to be in a mental institution next to that guy that didn't get the StarCraft tabletop miniatures game.
You gotta be roommates.
Yeah, you're going to be roommates. Have fun.
Oh my
Have
God.
fun in the crazy bin. Guys, thank you so much for joining us today. RSL will be back on tomorrow. Until next time, bye-bye.